All right, KDAY Nation, I'm excited about this. Listen, it happens nowadays the way you link up, and we linked up off Instagram, and I'm so excited. And I felt like our energies just connected. I'm talking about Lil Bushwick. Bill is here in the building, and I'm so excited that for once, I want to talk about you, about your dad, and about how you're keeping his legacy alive. Because right now, KDAY Nation, you guys need to go to all these platforms and download this song. It's called Ghetto Emotions, and it's with you and your dad, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the making of this. Now, did you take bits and pieces? Or were you in the studio?
Basically, my dad did a lot of interviews back in the day. So I basically look over all those interviews, and I picked one of my favorites where he talked about the mind and talked about how your mind can play tricks on you, just like not letting your emotions get the best of you. He's that he had got shot in the eye, so he's ready to speak. He's like, okay, I don't want to go back to that same mindset. So he broke down why he was thinking the way he was thinking that night.
Right.
And so I used that snippet in the song, and he's breaking it in between. So it's like me having a conversation with my dad while he's not here, but it's like me responding to the way he's talking.
Okay, in the studio, and you hear your dad's voice. First of all, my dad passed away. I would give anything to hear my dad's voice again. Such a blessing. But hearing his voice and responding, how was that, like, creating that? Did you feel that connection with your dad? Did you feel like, I got you, Pops? Like, this is
I definitely felt it because being in the studio with him, he always big on me being myself and just being my authentic self in the studio, not trying to be like him or trying to be somebody else. So, like, while I was creating it, I just had in the mindset, like, okay, what conversations will we have? Like, we always have, like, deep intellectual conversations about life in general and just how, like, who you are as an individual, understanding hip-hop. So with that, I just sat back and just, like, let it just be.
Right.
I didn't think too much about it. I just put them things together, and I had my engineer. He's like, this goes right here. This makes sense right here, too. And I'm like, that does. So we played it back a few times. I'm like, all right, this fits perfect. And it's like most of the time, I'm just like a vessel in the studio. I just let the music speak for me.
Right. But you know what? It's still different because it's your dad. You know what I mean? And you're carrying on his legacy. So when you played Ghetto Emotions, I know there was at least one person in your family that you had to play it for first. And maybe their response meant so much.
Mom.
Oh my! Talk about it when you played it for mom.
She was like, man, like she be so like taken back because like naturally my voice sounds like my dad.
Yes, I know.
So people like, yo, like I'm.
And you look like your dad.
I look like my dad.
Yes.
So it be like, man. So she hear me like speaking like so like well thought out how I speak my emotions, how I carry it out, and then she like, man, it's like your dad, just you. It's just you, but you're carrying it your own way. And it's like she was just so taken back by it, just like took her back.
Did she get emotional?
Of course.
Oh.
Like certain songs I made after my dad passed, like a month after my dad passed, I made a song called Time's Still Hard. And it was basically from like, he had a song called Times Is Hard on his Sam the Rapper project in the 90s. So I found the original sample and I resampled that song, made my own version. And basically I'm talking about how times is still hard after he passed. I'm like, that's how I felt. So I shot the video in New York after I did Sweat in the Morning. And I had like the whole New York feel. So me going back to his roots in New York. And just like, it's just like a whole moment for me. So that song really was just a real transparent because I put my most vulnerable emotions on that. And it's like after he passed, I really just broke through my real authentic self.
Did your personality is amazing. Got it from your dad?
Yeah, just being myself. I got it from them. My mom and my dad, they both very outgoing people. Like they could walk into a room and it don't matter what's going on, you just gonna like stop who's they walking into the room right now.
Right.
And it's because they just radiate them so much. It's like I want to know who that person is and more about you because it's something about you, but I don't know what it is.
Let me ask you, Lil Bushwick Bill, how has it been for you growing up as the son of a legend that everybody has embraced in hip hop? How is it for you? Does it weigh heavy sometimes?
It's a balance because like I had the duality of life, the understanding like of humble beginnings and understanding like of duality of the lifestyle being an entertainer. So it's like with that balance and understanding how I grew up, it's like I get both worlds. It's like I don't have a perception of just like, okay, this is how it feels to be a celebrity son. I understand just how it feels to just like exist just in this industry.
Right.
So I just like kind of figured out my own way and kind of like went about it my own route because a lot of people had a different upbringing with it. Like me growing up in environments in Houston and Missouri City and the south side of Houston, I've seen certain things that molded the way I think and move. And I know if I grew up a certain way, I wouldn't be the way I am right now.
Okay.
Because it molded my thoughts into that perception. But also being around my dad as I got older, I'm able to like spend time with him and travel and see these things. And now I'm going to see his version of life. I'm like, okay, that's what made my mind open to like getting how the industry move and how to go about it. But I just make sure I always be my authentic self in the rooms because a lot of it is just like really just character and role playing.
Did you get your dad's blessing when you started getting into music? Like he knew? I mean, there has to be a moment where he's like, I know my son's going to do this
it's
too.
It's crazy you said that. I remember we was on the road in Florida one time and we was in a car and it was like a beat playing and I was freestyling and everybody in the car just got silent and they just hear me rap and then after I rap, he's like, man, I was like, it's so much to this industry that I wouldn't even want you to be in this if with all the extra stuff with it. But he said, you're so talented, I'll be holding you back from being like your talents by not letting you be and letting you do this. Cause like it's so much with it. I'm like, it's like a lot come with the industry. But like, you're so talented, I'm not gonna tell you not to do this. Cause he's just like, man, like you really got it.
Yeah, and it had to be hard for Pops because he sees the talent. He knows talent when he sees it. Obviously, he's in the industry, but at the end of the day, you're his son.
Yeah, so,
and he wants to protect you.
Yeah, he really
know?
do. He really. And I'm his only son too. I got none but sisters. I'm his only son and first son. So it's like, man, like I really want to protect you from this industry, protect you from this and that. But at the same time, this is what you're passionate about. And I express myself through poetry. I express myself through words because like that's how I see things through life. It's like sometimes it's through pictures, but then like I'm able to put words certain ways together to where you can actually get and conceptualize how I feel, and in your mind you can see it.
Talk about the moment where, I mean, growing up with, your dad being who he is, you knew your dad did music. I'm sure growing up you saw him on stage.
Oh, yeah.
But there had to be a moment where it really clicked where you're like, my dad is really a legend in this.
When I was 17,
did that hit?
It was when I was 17. I was on this Unsung. It was like Ghetto Boys Unsung. And I finally got to spend that weekend with him, and we went to my grandma's house. They shot video of my grandma, talked to her about my dad, and he signed on my behalf because, I'm 17 at the time. So he's like, okay, I'm getting this waiver for you, my son likeness to be on this,
Right.
So I'm actually getting, like, okay, this is some real industry type stuff going on. I'm not understanding. I'm like, okay, we're trying to go get some clothes, and every time we're trying to get clothes, people keep stopping you, taking pictures. It's like, bro, what's going on? I'm like, I'm
did it trip you out at first?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, maybe once, but you're
but
like,
nah,
this
when
is
I really start to see it consistently, like when I actually got to see the consistency of it, like, cause I seen certain things, but it's like you're young. I'm just seeing him as Richard. People see him as Bushwick Bill. So like I'm just seeing as me kicking it with my dad. Somebody else is like, bro, your music has literally helped me get through my hardest times in life. So it's different perceptions.
Wow. Oh my. It just has to be an amazing. I need to see like some type. You need to come out with your own movie. Like,
I got some stuff.
Oh, you do? Okay. See, I think I'm manifesting
we put
this
some
in the
stuff
interview.
together, Trevi. I got some because like if you put it all together, all that done, I'm like my 28 years living, I've done a lot.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know. So he was here during Grammy week, and you stopped by, said what's up, and linked up with a few people here, but. We had a conversation, and I was like, don't tell me too much about it. Save it for the interview. And you're like, my dad, a lot of people don't know that Snoop smoked his first blunt with your pops.
Literally.
Like, okay, and people are like, wait a minute, Snoop. But the thing is Snoop used to smoke joints.
Yep.
But he had his first blunt with your pops. Let's talk about all that.
All right, let's go to the story with that.
Yes.
So basically, it was like around December. It was my dad's birthday. December 8th is his birthday. And so around that same time, the Chronic album was being made. So before they went out for my pop's birthday, it's Warren G and my pops. They stopped by the studio because Dre's finishing up the Chronic album sessions, like doing the final masters. So while in the session, they kicking it, smoking. My dad, he splits open a box of Phillies and then dump Chronic, and they like, what is that? Snoop never seen it before, and he's smoking Phillies because you gotta think he coming from Jamaica to New York. They smoke Phillies in New York, and then he's traveling as a famous artist, so now he's going to the West Coast with that same New York vibe. They're not having Phillies in the West Coast, so he's bringing that to their sessions, a whole box of pre-rolls of Phillies, smoking them, and they like, bro, I've never seen that before. So that's like his first experience with that, and he been knowing Snoop since he was 17, so they already been around each other.
Oh my God! So he's like, man. He's like, son, Snoop smoked his first blunt
so
with
it's
your
like
pops.
Smoke with him is like, that's one of the ones. It's legendary to smoke with Snoop, but like smoke with Bushwick Bill is like even like he put him on the blunts.
Well, and let's talk about it because you said from Jamaica. Is it true that your dad and Bob Marley grew up in the same city?
Okay, so yes, because they're both from Trenchtown, Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. So my grandparents, they grew up 2 doors down from the Marleys. So my auntie, she was best friends with Bob Marley's wife. So when he passed, she went to his funeral. Like my grandfather, which is my aunt, like my auntie's dad and stuff, he played soccer with Bob Marley and stuff and everything.
What?
Yeah, so our families are real connected and close. Like it's his like vest that one of his family members gave to me. And like my family has like the Star of Judah on it and stuff like that and everything. It's dope.
Oh my God!
And
are you guys still close with the Marley
Yeah, we
family?
are still close. Yeah, I remember I did a show in Austin. It was me, my dad, and Alex Marley was their cousin.
Oh my, that's so crazy because it was mentioned and I'm like, what? They grew up in the same city? Now I don't even
Trenchtown.
Like, not even the same city, guys. 2 doors down.
Yeah, 2 doors down from each other.
Basically.
Neighbors. There's neighbors. Yeah.
So we keep referring back to your dad, but I do want to touch on the hip hop community really mourned the loss of your father, right? Really, really mourned it. But it's different when it's the community. How did you and your family, you know what I mean, mourn that loss?
It's a perception thing because like when he first had passed, it was like TMZ said he passed before he had passed. So, and I was on a plane heading to be there with my dad right before he passed. So it was like, mind you, this I'm on the plane. I'm thinking my dad, like I'm having this perception, like, okay, I'm being my dad before he passed and be there for him. Like having these thoughts in my head. So I finally land. My phone just ding it going off. There's people saying, "RIP, I'm sorry about your loss." Sorry. I'm like, what you talking about? I'm like, I'm on the way to this man. Yeah, I think I'm on a flight from Houston.
I'm gonna be honest, that would freak me the fuck out.
Come on.
I would lose
like,
it.
I'm having nothing but messages blow up from all platforms. Everybody like, I'm sorry, but and it's like, think of this now that people say RP your dad, and it's like I don't want to say RP when he actually passed because like, I damn near feel disrespectful.
Right.
It's like, man. So it's like I had to go through it basically 2 times basically because once that happened, I called my dad like publicist, which is also like one of my sister's mothers, and I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Like why people blowing my phone up saying my dad passed and he passed? It's like because my grandfather had spoke to like my dad's photographer, and his photographer spoke to Face, and then Face was like, Face made the post, and once Scarface make a post saying that Bushwick will pass, and he's a member of the Ghetto Boys, what else you think everybody in the world gonna think?
Right.
And it's like a domino effect, so just like out of like scared, so just like boom, boom, boom. It's like, man, then the media gonna take that, and they took it and they ran with it. So and it's just like it was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
So with my family, it's just like we have to go through it our own way because it's like very something that's so private to you and so sensitive is now it's like you sharing it with the world.
And I think that's what's so hard is because, you know, we know the industry he's in. Obviously, the world is going to mourn. They're going to want to be tapped in. But at the end of the day, I mean, the fact is that it doesn't matter. It's your dad.
It's my dad. And I got siblings and sisters. I don't care how many
stages he's been on. I don't care the tours. This is my dad.
And I got a little sister that's literally like, around the time he passed, she's 4 years old. And I'm having to tell her, look at her and like, bruh, I have to tell you everything about Pops because you don't even get it yet. And so it's like, I'm like, y'all don't even understand that part. I'm going to be a big brother to all my sisters, but then the little one, she had to really get like, this who your dad is, okay, and I have to guide her understand so she really get this path like.
She asks a lot of questions?
Oh, yeah, and I'm with her. I look just like my dad, so me and her really takes each other so much. It's like, she's so dope.
And so what do you love to remind her the most about your dad?
Just to being yourself. Always being yourself.
That's
every
how he
room you walk into. It don't matter where he was or who he was with. It don't matter if you're an A-list celebrity or if you're a person that's off the street that's living on the corner. He's going to treat you with compassion and love if he's not disrespected.
Is that what you want people to remember the most about your dad?
Definitely. Because he always told me he said the easiest thing you could do as a human being is have decency as a human being. He said that's the least you can do is have common decency. Yeah. He said the least, the minimum, you know, and it's like that really stuck with me because I watched him like, he could, whatever's in his pocket, I watched him dig in his pocket and just give it to a homeless person. We stop at a light and it's like, he don't think twice about it. He just like, he always push it forward because he just know he's going to be blessed when he move in a certain path of enlightenment.
Isn't it crazy like how legendary he is, so famous, everybody knows. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't care. Every Halloween, you already know. You hear it all over the hip-hop stations. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you always hear Mind Playing Tricks on Me every Halloween, right? Like, they made this masterpiece. But, like, it's just so crazy because he does all this, but at the end of the day, like, you're like, damn, my pops is really humble. Super. Like, he didn't let this shake him. He didn't let this gas him up.
Sometimes he didn't even get how famous he was when he came to like working on his last album. It's like, people was like, man, I hope I can get so-and-so on this song. He's like, Bill, do you not know who you, like, you're, but it's like, he's that humble. He's like, people have to remind him, like, you know, you Bushwick Bill, but it's like, if he let that get to him, he wouldn't be the person you love.
Right.
Because it's like, it's all in your head. Because he told me fame is like, it's a mirage. He told me it's like being stuck in the desert and in your head and you thinking it's water, you think you see water, but it's all in your head. He said that's all fame is, because people can pick when they love and hate you. One day that you top of the world, the next day like this one thought of your mind made everybody hate you because of perception.
It's a finicky industry to be in.
Exactly. So it's like you rather have something that's very, very grounded and just being yourself. People love you for who you are, because like you already love me for who I am, so what's the lie about it? What's the fake about it? What's the try to sell you? This you love me for me.
And I love the fact that, you know what I mean, you're the son of a legendary artist, a legendary rapper, and now you're in the studio with Pimp C's son. Yep. And what has that been like? Like the two sons of like very legendary, very prominent hip hop figures. What's that like in that
It's
studio?
been super cool because like we both bring like our father's own kind of weight to the studio. It's like how he raps is like literally how Pimp talk. Like he's his gestures, his manner, how he move is like how his dad. And how I am, I'm like, my dad's super outgoing everywhere, but he's super smart, but I'm probably all over the room though. I'm gonna read and talk to everybody. That's how I brought that to the studio. We brought that in the room with the music. Like UGK and Ghetto Boys did a collab album. That's how our music sound.
Wow. And do your dad's friends, do they trip out sometimes? They'll be like, man, you just like your pops.
Like when Jay Prince, he'll see me, he like, man, Bill, he first when you ever see me, man, Lil Wick, man, what's up, man? He just like, he off rip, he just like, Bill, cause he's seen my dad since he was my age.
Wow.
So when he's looking at me and I'm looking like my dad age, it's like every time he see me, it trips him out. And then me and Young Pimp, we both look like our dad. So when we both kicking it and we with him, he just be like,
This is crazy.
He like, bro, Bushwick and Pimp, this is crazy. He's looking at us like, yo, both of y'all together? He's like, this is interesting.
When can we expect your guys' music to drop?
This month.
Okay, you
and
guys
also
hear that?
on the Radar freestyles, both our freestyles dropped this month too.
On all platforms. Okay, and then also too, I want to know, you have a strain of cannabis coming
Yes.
out with your pops. Was this something that you guys both had worked on before he passed away?
Because my dad was very big on expanding the brand and residual income. He's very big on that because he made me understand young the value of who I am and the value of like who he is. So like I'll just give you a perfect example of that, and I'm gonna get back to the cannabis strain.
Yeah.
So when I was younger on the road with him, like at 17, we had a show in Dallas, and I was like, "Yo, Pops, I need to pay my phone bill." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna teach you something and show you how to like basically be your own man and do your own thing too." He said, "Okay, look, each person that want a photo with me tonight, charge them $10 for the photo, and don't let them know. Understand this is my son, Summer Hustle, and this is what he doing. If you see value in me and respect me how you respect me, you'll honor that." So that's what we did the rest of the night. I did that. I made my phone bill money and then some. Had some extra money to spend. I was like, okay, and I got it. And like he helped me get like, bro, like you see now.
Your dad just taught you a hustle, bro.
Yeah,
like,
he like,
seriously.
do you see now? Like, do you get it now? And I'm like, okay, I get it now. And it's like just to get the value. And then so fast forward to that, it's like now I get it then after he passed, I keep those same principles. Like I'm making merch. I got collabs with Exotic Pot with a drink. I was sponsored by like Slapwoods. I got my dad's strain with the Chuckwick strain. Then mine's be called the Seed of Chuckwick.
Right.
Because like, it's all based around Halloween things. That's like my whole legacy is based around that. And a lot of people don't know he brought Chucky to hip hop.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wait. Say that again.
He brought Chucky to hip hop. The person who made Chucky, Don Mancini, he was good friends with my dad. And he even thanked him saying, "I appreciate you for making Chucky popularized in the hip hop community." Because when he had screenings of Chucky in LA, he would have my dad perform the Chucky song before the screening and then show the movie.
What?
Yeah.
So okay, so we're gonna say, you know what I mean? Chucky belongs to hip hop. All right, he belongs to.
It went out because
yes.
early. You look up all the early songs. My dad was like, before they had a Chucky doll, he had a Cabbage Patch doll, and he drew a mustache on it and made like a Chucky doll and carried it on him before they had Chucky dolls.
Oh my goodness!
Literally, yeah.
I wonder if the guy who made the Chucky doll got that idea when he saw your pop.
Because look at the Cabbage Patch doll and look at the Chucky doll.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying. Well, let me ask you this: what actually sparked this idea? Like, okay, I'm gonna create, this line of cannabis. You said, your dad wanted you to have residual income. Why the cannabis?
Because, like I said, go back to our Jamaican roots, to us being from Trenchtown, Jamaica, and Kingston, and with the Marleys, and then fast forward, just like what is so embedded the culture and the Rasta lifestyle, and then with him introducing Snoop the Blunts, and it's been part of his whole reign in hip hop and legacy. So it's like, but it's nothing he ever merged on it. He never just like say, I'm gonna create this Bushwick Bill, this and that, because he wasn't thinking like that. He just being Bill. But like me understanding what I know now and getting like how technology has advanced since his time period, and me getting how everything moves, I'm like, it makes the most sense. And like all the people that he literally came up with or backed in the industry are all the people that's like the biggest influencers in the cannabis lane. So it's like, why not?
Right, absolutely. Let me ask you, our listeners want to know, indica or sativa?
Indica.
Okay,
sure,
I'm just saying.
just saying. For sure. I be vibing. I'm not, no. That's what we doing, indica.
He's like,
for
indica.
Sure.
Now, we had talked about it earlier in the interview. I mentioned, like, man, there might be some type of movie documentary. You said something's coming soon.
Yes, the Bushwick Ghetto Boy.
Do people hit you up a lot about that?
Yes, they always like, when the film coming out, when the film. Okay, so like basically we was gonna release it during the 50th year of hip hop, the anniversary. But you gotta think with a lot of those old school music and like old songs, it's so many clearances and so many like stuff you have to go through, and it's like it's not a problem with clearing, it's just the fact of the process of that. Right. So it's like a lot of hip hop movies then dropped during the 50th anniversary of hip hop. That was with Showtime, Mass Appeal that Nas did because of that same thing. And that's right now it's easier because you can do more independent. They can upload to just your kid and then drop a song same day, get a beat, whatever this and that. It was different on that time. So we're still gonna roll out the film, but it's like you want to do due diligence in the right process and make sure it gets the attention it needs to get. So it's gonna be a whole rollout for that.
And I think also too, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to be, I would assume, very protective of your dad's name, his brand, his likeness. So whoever comes to the family, they got to come the right way.
Yeah, because even since my dad passed, it's so much I had to protect and do.
Really?
Man, it's people out here be greedy and shiesty and just like you wouldn't believe the things be trying to like try to do to come to my legacy. But it's like I'm so like a person, like I'm humble, but at the same time like I'm balanced mentally to where like I know how to deal with people accordingly to where it's like I'm not gonna act out of character, but I'm gonna handle this professionally because people try to make merch and do collabs and like their own collab, like dropping like merch of my dad's face and selling the shirt for $150, $200 that nothing to do with me and my family and just trying to make money off his face. I'm like tight timing. Yeah. Like people try to do all that, try to buy likeness, all type of like people try to do a lot.
You are probably sending out cease and desist letters left and right,
man,
bro.
It's so,
like, come on.
I'm like, man, I be trying to focus on others. So like people don't understand when it comes to music stuff. Like what I do, I pace myself because I'm balancing multiple careers. I'm doing my stuff, carrying this, and also I'm protecting the brand because I'm my dad's only son, and I don't want to understand the music business more than my sisters.
Right.
So it's like if I say, oh, I don't care of this and that, it's like it's just up in the wind for anybody to just be like.
Yeah, so you have to like really just be that gatekeeper.
Exactly.
For your dad's legacy.
And he made sure he really put me through like certain trials and then been on the road. He made sure I understood and been around certain people and environments to get like, okay, he really prepared me for when it get to this point.
Right.
So like I really like I had to get my understanding, and once I got my overstanding, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
How was that goodbye? Like you said, you went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
TMZ had came out. They obviously jumped the gun on that, but you were able to go and say your goodbye. What was that final like?
It was just like I just knew.
Really quick, I'm sorry. Was it just you two in the room?
It was just it was me, my sister. My sister the same age as me, and it's like somebody else that was with my dad before we got there. That was just naturally with him leading up to the time he passed. So it's like once I got there, I was the first person there, and then it was the dude, and then my sister got on later on, and then we all there, and then you gotta think my aunties and them, everybody asking us and what's going on, so we all have to be there for them. They all on video calls and chats while this is happening, and you gotta think I'm gonna have to be mentally strong enough to where I gotta make sure my sisters and his sisters and my mom, his baby mom, all these people get to be here for this last moment, so I can't not get my composure or be out of character, or I can't not feel those things. So I didn't even get to really like. It took me, I had to express and feel my dad's like passing through my own way. Like I didn't get to mourn my own way. It took time because it's like so much beyond leaning towards me that I ain't get that. It's straight, okay, he passed, all right, make sure he good, make sure this and that. I'm on it, I'm like, bro, I gotta make sure you right. Like
I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like when my father passed, I went into like, okay, I gotta call, for the casket and the funerals.
I got on that,
and everything
ASAP.
was like you just had to do it. And I really mourned my father a month later.
Yeah, that's how it was.
It was weird.
Because that whole week while I'm in Colorado, is like I'm handling business on my dad's behalf before I get back to Houston. I'm not getting to say, okay, my dad has passed, let me just decompress. And no, it's like, take care of this on Pops, and then I get back to the city, and then whatever else from there.
Right.
But it's like, it's still, life continues. Like, that's why this one saying he said before he passed me, like probably like the week prior before he passed, that always sticks with me forever. He said, tomorrow never dies, we do. And he's basically saying to me that like tomorrow's gonna come with or without you, so I always seize the day. And so that's when it came to me with the concept of everything that happened with him. Is like, bro, tomorrow not gonna die. So it's like taking everything you in today, take what you get from here and keep going. But don't forget, you know what I'm saying? Don't like let things hold you back. Let it build, because life is all about character development.
It is.
Literally.
Now, you told me a story of, talk about it. He was on the Dre album.
Yes.
He was in the studio. Let's talk about that because it's hilarious what you were telling me.
Okay, you talking about the studio session or the Dre Day? The Dre Day video?
The Dre Day, yeah.
Okay, so the Dre Day video... All right, so the Dre Day video is a photo shoot they actually had that after the Dre Day video shoot that had Nate Dogg in it. It had Warren G. It had Snoop Dogg, Lil Have That, all them. It's like a classic photo. Everybody's wondering where that photo's from. It's like a lot of people that remember it's like that's from the Dre Day video shoot, and he played like Eazy-E in the Dre Day video shoot. I was like, bro, this is hilarious. It's like the balance of my dad being friends with everybody, and then he'll still be in the midst of other stuff. Everybody like, bro, I don't understand, but he made it work.
Oh my God! And then he did show up at a session though with Dre, didn't he?
Yes.
And then he ended up on.
Okay, yeah,
was
that
it the
one.
intro?
Okay, yeah, the Stranded on Death Row.
Yeah,
Stranded on Death Row.
Yes.
Now I remember. Okay, the Stranded on Death Row. That was the last song on the Chronic album. Basically, while Dre was final mastering processes, he ended up telling Dre like, "Yo, I know this sample. Like, let me just do something on here. He like, Bill, I'm mastering the project. I'm trying to finish it up. This is the final. The song is done." He like, no. He kept nagging him, and then finally Dre was like, "All right, just go say something." And he said something at the beginning, and he said something at the end, and Dre was like, "All right, repeat that one more time." And mind you, he said it on top of his head, and he still repeated it on point.
What?
Verbatim. He did it, and so when you go to that song, he's like, why Bill's not rapping? Why he just saying some deep philosophical stuff? Like, bro, because he wasn't even supposed to be on the song. Like, at all. And that's why it's on the last song on the project, because he literally was finishing up the whole album. He was literally mastering it. He's like, bro, all right,
Oh man,
Yeah.
I love hearing the stories about your pops, but I also love like what you're doing because not only are you gatekeeping his legacy, you're also building your own.
Yes.
You know, and so you have Risk that drops next Friday.
Yes. So my first solo
Y'all better
single under
download
Lil
it.
Bushwick, it's called Risk. It drops next week, and the pre-orders drop this weekend. So it's gonna be dope because with that song, I really just like put on like what I did to make this reality, the risk I didn't took, and the sacrifice I make daily, because it's like that's what it takes to be what you want to be. You can't just hope somebody gonna come save you. That's not how life works. It's not a movie.
Right. Now, we talked about this, and I want to say it on camera because I want this footage out there. There needs to be a growing up hip hop.
Definitely.
What do we say? Growing up hip hop South?
Yes.
Yes, because it's you, Pimp
C son, you got Lil Hawk son, and also out here you got Lazy Bone sons, Busy Bone son. Like, we got all of us all together. That's like just alone, but also just in Houston in general. You got the SUC, UGK, and Ghetto Boys, all the seeds of those people.
Is it easier, like when you hang with them, is it an easier camaraderie because they understand where you're coming from because you guys are the sons? You know what I mean?
It depends the age group, because I'm 28 and some of them is younger is like 20. Some is younger is like 19 or 21. So it's like, it depends like their perception of their reality and how they grew up. Because like, some of their fathers passed when they was kids. My dad passed when I was 23. Like
So you had that time with
I
pops,
had my time. I had a little more time. So like, some of them, like I say, some of my cousins, their dads alive. Only people that like everybody else on them murals in Houston, majority of our dads gone. Pimp C's, all that Bushwick Bill, Hawk, all they, we don't have our dads. So it's like, but we all lost them at different age brackets. So it's like, depending on that time you had with your dad or that knowledge or that time period, is how much you know.
Right.
So luckily, like with me, it's like, I was able to get a little bit of more information and piece things together. Kind of like, okay, I got it as a little bit closer to an adult after, so I can get certain things. So I help them and get them insight what I learned as an adult, so they get their guidance.
Gotcha.
Because like, I help everybody get their worth, understand their worth. Because I'm like, bro, we are really this, and like, you understand who you are, and if you don't get who you are and hang around people know who you are, you'll forget who you are.
Yeah, but it's stand in that and be have pride.
And have pride in it.
Right.
And also somebody who you are. I'm very big on self. Because it's like, my dad was big on like, okay, you're a better version of me, but there's no such thing as a 2.0. Like, it's like, you're a better version of me. You're not like a whole, you can't be a Bushwick Bill. It's like, it's only one Bushwick Bill ever.
I think your dad wanted you to really just embrace your individuality.
Very,
you know what I mean?
because
that's so important.
If you look at him, and like anywhere we went, you knew Bushwick Bill because Bushwick Bill looked like Bushwick Bill.
Yeah.
It was like, if you see like Lil Uzi or these other artists, like they look like them, they embodied them. Right. So it's like, I'm very big on individuality, because it's something that everybody gonna look at when it comes to you. They're not gonna attach something to you.
Now you've got the merch on right now.
Yes.
He said he's gonna bring us some, KDAY Nation.
I got you. And
yes.
it's a collab with my the Leaf company. I'm sponsored by Slapwoods. So we did a collab with the Chuck Wick.
I love it. Yes. Okay, so you guys, can people order it?
Yes,
or where can they order it?
LilBushwick.com. You can order it. The Chuck Wick hoodies, the Chuck Wick tees, all my dad merch, signed memorabilia, everything.
Now, let me ask you, because I just love the music you're creating. I love what you're doing. Are we getting a tour?
Yes,
Are we getting a tour?
We putting it
gonna
together
get an
right
LA
now.
Performance.
We putting it together right now with my cousin with his brand Pure Pressure. We putting together a whole basically strain tour and music together.
Are you going to be hitting LA?
Yes, of course.
Okay, KDAY Nation, there we are. We're going to be there.
Yeah, we putting it all together. So we can do a whole round. We hit like the West Coast, then hit the Midwest, and then hit down South, and just hit every area, and then branch out to overseas.
People want to get in touch with you. How can they follow you on Instagram?
At number one, Lil Bushwick, Lil Bushwick.
Leaving here, we talked about your father, what do you want people to leave, like, with the impression of you? Like, what do you want them to know about you?
Main thing I want them to know about me or take from me is that always engulf in your talents and don't let what was given to you at birth waste in this lifetime, because the cemetery is where all dreams go to die.
Man, you're so wise beyond your years, and honestly, like, this is your home. Whenever you're here, this is your home. Like, there ain't no other place. This is it.
I appreciate you
This
so much.
is it, yes.
This is my place.
Yes, and he's getting a tour. He's going to be in LA. We will be there. I cannot wait. I will be wearing that hoodie.
Also, don't forget, 420, I'm there too.
Oh, yes. He's going to be at Crash Groove, guys. We are so excited about that.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's going to be awesome for you just to be on stage and see KDAY Nation, man. LA gets turned up on another level. Thank you so much.
Out
I love you. I love you. Man,
love you too, always.
There it is right there. Lil Bushwick Bill. Y'all better recognize.